What do you get when you combine Punch-Out and Splatoon? ARMS. That's what you get. The game was a success as of 2022, but now I feel like ARMS is kind of forgotten about, but I don't know why Nintendo pushed it as hard as they did. I mean, it wasn't a success, and now we have Min Min and Smash Bros. And if I'm being honest, I didn't even know that ARMS existed until Min Min got into Smash Bros. And even then, I didn't know ARMS existed. Frankly, I didn't even know it existed until the Switch 2 Direct. Like, if the game wasn't that popular, why is Nintendo pushing it so hard? I mean, it got a Switch 2 update. What? You know what, it's time we revisit this idea. Just make the concept a little bit better, that's all. So before we get into any detail, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the notification bell. I appreciate everyone who reaches out. Drop a comment down below if you want Punch-Out to get remade, because I desperately want Punch-Out Wii to get remade on Switch 2. Let's get into it. Now, I looked it up before recording. ARMS has sold 2.72 million copies across the world as of 2022. This game is so forgotten about. The concept, it deserves to be explored again in something that isn't bare bones and something that has it's a concept that deserves to be explored again. Like Splatoon, for Splatoon it made sense because most people were already accustomed to like third-person shooters, and there's a whole single player campaign, there's amazing DLC and content updates, there's multiple types of battles. Meanwhile, I feel like ARMS doesn't have much of anything. I mean, yes, it does have a single player campaign of its own, but I don't really see anything in like deep detail on like Reddit and wikis and stuff. I don't really see much of that right now. Now, I know that ARMS had like some type of global test punch where people got to play like a beta version before the game was actually released. Again, it was something, but ARMS just didn't really offer much to begin with. Look, the only reason I'm saying all this is because the concept deserves to be explored again. I mean, Nintendo made a patch update for ARMS on Switch 2 for whatever reason. And I've been clamoring for the past year and a half that Punch-Out should be getting a remake. I bet that Punch-Out Wii has more content than ARMS does. I mean, take a look at my Punch-Out marathon at the end of this video and you'll see what I mean. I feel if Nintendo were to explore the concept again, I think that a game that mostly focuses on a single player campaign that does dabble a bit with multiplayer online, just a tiny bit compared to Splatoon. I personally feel like that idea would probably breathe life into ARMS better than it did, and may even hit 5 million compared to 2 million. I mean, heck, considering how nuts the roster was for Mario Kart World, we could probably be getting an even more nuts roster for Super Smash Bros. That contains 4 more characters from ARMS, like Springman, for example, not just Min Min. So the concept has the potential to be explored again, but Nintendo just won't take the chance because of how bad the sales were. I wouldn't be surprised if ARMS gets a Nintendo Select after all in the Switch 2 generation, considering that it got a patch. I mean, there's like there's literally 121 Switch 1 first-party games, and yes, I did count them all. And ARMS is a part of that list, and it got patched. I mean, I looked on the wiki for most Switch 1 game sales, and the lowest a game has sold is just 1 million copies, that's it. There's never been a game sale that's on a Nintendo Switch, that isn't third party anyway, that's sold under 1 million copies. But even the lowest stuff, like the Mario & Rabbids games, ARMS, which I'm talking about in this video, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, then there's Miitopia. I could honestly just go over the wiki of some of the lower selling games, like under 5 or 3 million. That is a small amount, but then again, the sales were just really high. But Nintendo has broken the next spending boundary, now games are $70 to $80, yada yada yada, you've heard that enough. Nintendo Selects are going to be coming back, and most likely some of the lowest selling games like ARMS and a couple of other stuff is going to get Nintendo Select treatment, get their price lowered, and more people will be willing to buy them. And ARMS is most likely going to be one of the first ones to get that treatment because of how low the sales were. I don't see anyone revisiting this game otherwise, and even then I don't see anyone revisiting that game at all. But like I said at the beginning of this video, the concept, it deserves to be explored again. So I'm going to be making some basic judgments for what a good ARMS game would be. Let's get into it. Now the length, I think that would be like 20 to 25 hours with a little single player campaign, and it would have some type of, you know what, I don't really care what the story would be for the ARMS game, so long as the gameplay itself is good. I think it'd have like 50 levels in total, and like I said, if you're a completionist, it should only take like 40 hours tops to complete to 100% the game. But otherwise, the base game is like 20 to 25 hours in length, but 100% is like 40 hours. I think that'd be a fair trade-off. Heck, it doesn't even have to be like a story mode. It could be like something like from Punch-Out, where you're just trying to climb up the ranks and each battle is distinct in its own way. That'd be amazing. And you know what? Screw it. Let's get some characters from other Nintendo titles that are like really big punchers, like DK. Screw it. Stay with me here. Imagine we got Little Mac, like someone 100% the game, or maybe Lil Mac is like DLC or something. Lil Mac is an unlockable in like an ARMS single player campaign. Now I'm not really sure what another ARMS game would be called. I mean, like ARMS 2 just sounds lame, and then ARMS and Legs, that just sounds goofy and lame. Although I like the idea of having a single player campaign where you're just climbing the ranks. If you're a noob, it takes you like 20 hours to get good, like Punch-Out. If you're a pro, you can just blast through all these guys in a couple of fell swoops. Imagine we got Hitmonchan from Pokemon as like an opponent. But now as I say, I realize that there's like a ton of playable characters that you can play as. What if you can like go up the ranks as different characters? Like if you climb up the ranks as one character and you get to a certain point and you select a different character who has different attributes and fundamental skills, you start the ranks from the beginning instead of where you left off from that specific character, and allow us to delete our save data. Nintendo, that I really don't like how we're not allowed to delete our single player data in Pokemon and Splatoon. Don't make that the case for here in ARMS. And sure, there could be like online play as a little side mode, and that's just it. And then there's like exhibition. Exhibition would be fine as well. Like exhibition matches against computers that are like level 1 to level 5, 5 being the hardest, and like online play as little side modes, but you still have like a single player campaign. That would breathe life into ARMS better than what was happening on Switch 1. And make it actually difficult. Like, IGN made an entire episode that your games are getting a little bit easy, and I kind of agree with them. Having a game that's actually hard coming from Nintendo, that would be beautiful, especially when it boils down to a franchise that a lot of people have forgotten about. And maybe like a year or two after the game releases, there could be like DLC that includes characters from other Nintendo franchises like DK and Lil Mac, because, you know, I'm a Punch-Out freak. Now listen, I've been clamoring for like the past 3.5 minutes about all this stuff that would breathe life into a concept that people have forgotten about. But then again, Nintendo just updated ARMS to run at 4K and 60 FPS, and yeah, it looks nice, whatever. So I feel like they're not going to bother touching the concept of ARMS again outside that one patch update. But you know what, the concept deserves to be explored again, so maybe we'll see it again at some point. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I need to get this all edited and uploaded, yada yada yada. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Later.